What is up, everybody? My name is Devin Stanford, aka Brevin the Dude. It is another episode of Good Kraken's Death Ratio Show. It is episode 12, and I am joined today by my beautiful little cherry blossom that is directly to my left, Garrick Bartholomew Eaton. How you doing, brother?
Oh Jesus! Like literally, as you asked that, I felt the fucking cough like creep up my throat. God damn it!
That sucks.
I'm doing pretty good. Got a pretty decent start to the week. I'm fucking tired today though, man. Very much looking forward to having some din and reading more of my book that I've been reading on a little later.
Oh yeah, I haven't read a full book since like school.
Dude, we have like a book club thing that we're doing. It's just right now. I mean, obviously it's open to people. But right now it's me and Xander and Geo, and we're actually doing like our first little meeting tomorrow, and we're discussing like our first book that we all picked. It was Xander chose our first book. We're doing we're meeting on the book called Worth Dying For by Lee Child. It's a Jack Reacher novel. So we started with one of those, and tomorrow after we do our meeting, I will make suggestions and then we'll pick one of those books and then we'll all read a new one.
Sick. That sounds fun. Fucking, it sounds like something I want to do, but like I don't know if I have the time to do it.
That's fair.
Like
enough.
I have the time right now, but I won't in 2
You don't
weeks.
know if you'll have the time, right?
Yeah.
I basically I've been doing my book for the book club. Like I did mine as an audio book just because I am like you and I kind of knew I wouldn't have like a ton of time. Xander just read his. I think he like straight up just bought the book and read his, and like I just bought mine as an audio book. I think Geo also did his. Geo also did his as an audio book. But like we're just kind of like, which is kind of nice because I mean like it's the same, like same, but we're just like I'm pretty excited to talk about it tomorrow and see how it goes.
I might be able to do audiobooks. I'll have to see how things go with the new
Dude.
job.
It's like
But
just see how
I'll
it
keep
goes
me
while
posted.
you're with the new job.
Yeah,
you
keep me
can,
posted.
Like, we're doing,
Maybe
we did Jack Reacher on this last one. I'm gonna suggest a bunch of different fantasy novels. So
yeah, keep me posted. Maybe I'll end up joining in the next round after this one. You know.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We are also joined today by the seductive, the inclusive, the beard scratching man himself, Twitch's very own DJ Sinfix.
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Not much. I just realized that I had to fix your frame. It's all good. We're here. We're here. We're doing it live, baby. We're doing it live. We did it live. Yeah, how you doing, man? You have a good day?
Yeah, man, it's been chill. I don't know why, dude. I just feel tired as fuck. I have a headache. Yeah. I've done nothing all day, man. It's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
No class today?
Nah, dude. I got my final my last final exam I have to take is on Saturday.
Oh, really?
Oh, so you're
it's your last final?
Done.
Yeah, about to be. Yeah, I did. I took 2 finals yesterday. So that's why I came home I was exhausted. I was like I didn't want to fucking.
Are you stoked?
And I also was a little sick too, and I was like, I can't get on the show that night. I was like, I want to relax.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
we had it handled.
Yeah, I stay up. I will have to wake up at like 5 a.m. to take because my exam was at 7:30 in the morning, and then I had to wait until 11:30 to take my other exam. I got a B+ on that first the one in the morning.
Congrats, dude.
Hell yeah.
I haven't got the ones for the next one yet, but yeah.
I mean, don't be too hard on yourself. Just remember, D's get degrees.
But it's just it's also it's a requirement though to like keep your grade above like a C and shit for certain classes. So
Mm-hmm.
if I bomb a
Fair enough.
test, it like it can make it break it for me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
no pressure, but it's pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure, but it's
I
pressure.
feel like school is always pressure, though, and I'm sure the
For
two
sure,
of you
yeah.
can attest for that. So, I mean,
Mhm.
I've purposely avoided it because I don't want the pressure. You know what I'm saying?
It's a
For
lot,
better or
man.
worse.
If you're not
You
like
know?
if you're not like a really purposeful self-starter, school sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. It like I had to fucking. I swear I have to like, literally like mentally strap myself down and do work. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
fuck, dude.
Like literally, you have to like almost like proverbially like hold yourself at gunpoint to fucking
Yeah.
to get it done.
Yeah, dude.
Like
It,
it's
Yeah.
just
it
like you're
feels
like
that
you're like
way,
if I,
dude. Because it's
yeah,
like
that's how it feels, right? You're just like you're like I have to hold
like
myself like
even though like
accountable
the
to like the most
deadline.
extreme degree.
Yeah, dude. It's like you feel the deadline weighing down on you throughout the days. You know, you're like,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
fuck.
are you like me though, where like you'll put it off until like you can't be ignored, and then you just do
Yes.
like immaculate work under pressure?
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
it's
That.
it's a really
But you're
bad
pretty, but
habit,
you're
but
like
I get my
this
work
is the
done.
greatest essay I've ever crafted, but it also shaved 5 years off my life.
Yeah, dude. It's like because like I think I scramble a lot more. Like I move a lot more if it's it's due that day or due to like the next day. Like I'm like, all right, dude, let me get fucking just slam down a
Bro,
fucking
it's because when you have
coffee.
ADHD, time's a
Yeah.
fucking construct.
Dude, I feel the ADHD very hard. It like, especially with like being unemployed these last couple months, it wasn't up until like maybe 2.5, 3 weeks ago that I finally got proactive and productive
Mhm.
again. And the way that I found that is like I got excited about music, so like I like hooked up my modeler up to my computer and I dove in and just started editing everything and updating everything and doing all, all of that stuff. And last night I finally poked around on DaVinci and edited
Mhm.
one of our podcast episodes, and Ernell and we worked on it together for probably an hour, hour and a half.
You guys were at it for a
Yeah, I
while.
saw you guys
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. Well, there was some audio things going on, but we were like struggling with it. And then like I was like going through, and then my like music brain just like clicked because I noticed that I could use like all of my audio like mixing tools from
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
DAWs and stuff that I use. So I
Mm.
used those to like get everything leveled out and make it sound as good as I could.
How's Da Vinci treating you, dude? Like how are you like faring with it so far? Like just the
Let's
editing wise.
let's just say it's really intuitive.
He sucks.
Oh, okay.
No, that for everybody listening, we got Ernell sitting in the background. He's just kind of hanging out.
Supervising. He was the
Yeah,
mediator,
he's
actually.
being manager guy. You guys can all write to him and
Yeah.
tell him he sucks. Like, make sure you put a picture of Karen hair in it, and actually write to him too. Don't email him. Don't message him. Physically
Yeah, write
write
a
and just
letter.
put a picture of a Karen in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Actually, to
pussy
make it
better
even better,
stank,
just
otherwise I don't want it.
God
Mhm.
damn it! God damn it!
Mhm.
God damn
yeah,
it!
just you should actually just Photoshop Ernell like with like a Karen haircut instead. Do that.
Or
Yeah.
everybody
then
get
right
an
away.
audio, get an audio clip of this too, and just send it to him on whatever social media platform of your choice. Just send him.
Shut up, bitch!
Yeah. There we go.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
shut up.
Yeah. But we're not shutting up today because Phil Spencer doesn't get a pass. Signing into Tsushima, and the bombs have been dropped, and much, much more, because this is Good Kraken's Death Ratio, and we're slashing through the podcast space to be your source for all the nerdy video game news, reviews, and discussions that you want to hear live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. West Coast, Best Coast time. If you don't want to get ahead of the curve, you can head on over to our Discord channel, or if you do want to get ahead of the curve, I should say, where you can also submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive post-show content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcast and video services, wherever you like to watch or listen. But if you've spent all your credits at another shop, that is totally fine. You can watch us record the show live right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show. If you have Amazon Prime, tell them DJ.
Prime Gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you like me? How you like me, dog?
So
Send that to
fucking
me
Played it.
now.
It's on the
Upload
soundboard.
that.
It's on the soundboard.
It's on the soundboard.
Where's-
It's on the
It is?
soundboard.
It's there.
Oh, it's on the soundboard.
Yeah, it's on the soundboard.
Gaming.
Yeah.
So ridiculous, dude.
Yes. All right. You also have Twitch Prime, and we would love for you to give that to us to help us level up our game. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Death Ratio and leaving a review there.
Prime.
Jesus.
Oh, that was a lot.
Garrick,
What?
speaking of a lot, we got some critical hits.
Do we?
Our podcasts are now available on all your streaming platforms, and they now release to the public at 6 a.m. But if you're a subscriber and you're on our Discord, you will get the show the same evening that it airs. So definitely check that shit out. You know, be a part of it, be about it. Speaking of, join our Discord for more discussions, gaming, and watch parties. And watch parties are for you subscribers out there, and we'll do some more of that here soon. There's been a lot of shows that I think we've all liked lately, and I would like to watch those shows with more people. So instead of by myself, you know, because every time I watch a show by myself, I just sit there and I like stare off in the distance, and every now and then I'm just like,
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
but yeah,
Why are you like this?
why do you keep asking that question?
I don't know, because I'm expecting a different answer one day. Dude, the Discord soundboard is like the worst thing that ever happened to this fucking podcast.
Is it though?
I hate it. It really
yeah,
is.
100%.
It really,
Yeah,
really
agree.
is.
I agree.
It really, really, really is. Like, really, really, really.
Don't forget, we have all our other episodes from our other shows on YouTube and audio podcast platforms. For all you listens, please be sure to go follow us on there for more
That's a
content.
typer.
That is a typer. Guys, the Shipwreck Show, episode 118, is on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. Go check it out. And I apologize in advance if you go, why the fuck is Devin quiet? Well, it's because I did it. So, yeah.
You did
now
it.
you know. Yeah, that's my fault. So, yeah, go check it out. Let us know how you feel. Oh, DJ, can you tell the
Yes,
people
sir.
what we got coming up next, please?
Well, there's a few things we got coming up, but the main thing is we got a few news stories that hit our line of sight, baby.
That is
Prime
right.
Gaming.
That wasn't even me that
was
time.
frustrating.
That wasn't even me. So yeah, line of
What
sight.
do
You know,
I had to.
We should just have a line of sight come up, and it's got to be like Duck Hunt style, where like
Oh,
the
that'd be cool.
Nintendo gun like aims, but instead of a duck, it's Ernell.
I'd let it happen.
Interesting.
I'd allow it. I'd allow it.
Like we could just use one of his, emote faces.
Oh yeah, we could absolutely do that.
Yeah.
That's what
Guys,
we, can use
we
the high voice
have-
for.
Exactly. Guys, we have some news to go over, and particularly one massive story that broke, which is insane. And Garrick, are you sure you want to read this one? I even cut out some of it.
Dude, I literally I'm so glad that you asked that, because I opened this shit. I was like, why the fuck did I do that to myself? I was like, I'm literally the worst person in the podcast to read shit out loud. Why did I volunteer for the longest
All right,
fucking article all year?
we'll switch places. I'll read this.
I was like, I literally can't read aloud. Like,
Yeah. I know. That's why I asked if one of you guys wanted to do it.
to be fair, I didn't think it was gonna. I assumed it would be long, but I didn't think it was gonna be that long.
I mean, it's some big news. It's some big news, guys.
It is
I'll-
very
I'll-
big news.
I'll start us off tonight. Guys, Microsoft closes Redfall developer Arkane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush developer Tango Gameworks, and more in devastating cuts at Bethesda. This is coming from Wesley Yinpool over at IGN. Microsoft has closed a number of Bethesda studios, including Redfall maker Arkane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush, and the Evil Within developer Tango Gameworks, and more in devastating cuts at Bethesda. IGN can confirm. Alpha Dog Games, maker of mobile game Mighty Doom, will also close. Roundhouse Studios will be absorbed by the Elder Scrolls Online developer ZeniMax Online Studios. Microsoft, currently valued at over $3 trillion, did not say how many staff will lose their jobs, but significant layoffs are inevitable. IGN has asked Bethesda for comment. Microsoft declined to expand further when contacted by IGN. On Redfall, the disastrous vampire co-op game will now not receive promised updates, including an offline mode and new character DLC, as Microsoft has ended all development on the game. Microsoft said Redfall will remain online to play, and it will provide a quote-unquote make good offer for those who bought the hero DLC. Arkane Leon, which is working on Marvel's Blade, survives the coal, as does Bethesda's game studios Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Starfield, and Machine Games Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Doom developer id Software is also unaffected. Quote, the reprioritization of titles and resources means a few teams will be realigned with others, and that some of our colleagues will be leaving us. In an email to staff sent by Matt Booty, head of Xbox Studios, Microsoft blamed the cuts on a reprioritization of titles and resources. The email verified by IGN. And you know what? I am actually going to pull up that email because I feel like we should actually read that email because it is in the article here. I'll have it up here in just a second, guys. Okay.
I hate this so much.
Oh, so that's not the article. Where is it? Here.
Does it say bye-bye?
Yeah,
It just says goodbye, gamers.
Goodbye, gamers. No, actually, so this email was verified by IGN, and I'm gonna read it for you guys. Today, I'm sharing changes we are making to our Bethesda and ZeniMax teams. These changes are grounded in prioritizing high-impact titles and further investing in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games and beloved worlds, which you have nurtured over many decades. To double down on these franchises and invest to build new ones requires us to look across the business to identify the opportunities that are best positioned for success. The reprioritization of titles, God, that's a mouthful, and resources means a few teams will be realigned to others and that some of our colleagues will be leaving us. Here are the changes going into effect. Arkane Austin. This studio will close with some members of the team joining other studios to work on other projects across Bethesda. Arkane Austin has a history of making impactful and innovative games, and it is a pedigree that everyone should be proud of. Redfall's previous update will be its last as we end all development on the game. The game and its servers will remain online for players to enjoy, and we will provide make-good offers to players who purchase the Hero DLC. Alpha Dog Studios. This studio will also close. We appreciate the team's creativity in bringing Doom to new players. Mighty Doom will be sunset on August 7th, and we will be turning off the ability for players to make any purchases in the game. Tango Gameworks will also close. We are thankful for their contributions to Bethesda and players around the world. Hi-Fi Rush will continue to be available to players on the platforms it is today. Roundhouse Games. The team at Roundhouse Games will be joining ZeniMax Online Studios. Roundhouse has also played a key role in many of our recent game launches, and bringing them to ZeniMax to work on the Elder Scrolls Online will mean we can do even more to grow the world that millions of players call home. With this consolidation of our Bethesda studio teams, so that we can invest more deeply in our portfolio of games and new IP, a smaller number of roles across select Bethesda publishing and corporate teams will also be eliminated. Those whose roles will be impacted will be notified today, and we ask that you please treat our departing colleagues with respect and compassion. We will provide our full support to those who are impacted in today's notifications and through their transitions, including severance benefits informed by local laws. These changes are not a reflection of the creativity and skill of the talented individuals at these teams or the risks they took to try new things. I acknowledge that these changes are also disruptive to the various support teams across ZeniMax and Bethesda that bring our games to market. We are making these tough decisions to create capacity to increase investment in other parts of our portfolio and focus on our priority games. Bethesda remains one of the key pillars of Xbox, with a strong portfolio of amazing games and thriving communities. As we look to the future, there is an impressive lineup of games on the horizon. In 2024 alone, we have Starfield Shattered Space, Fallout 76 Skyline Valley, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and the Elder Scrolls Online's Golden Road. As we align our plans and resources to best set ourselves up for success in this complex and changing industry, our teams across Arkane Lyon, Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, Machine Games, ZeniMax Online Studios, and the Bethesda publishing and corporate teams will be well positioned to build new IP, explore new game concepts, and expand on our existing franchises, wrote Matt Booty. Microsoft's announcement of these cuts at Bethesda come over 3 months after the company announced plans to cut 1,900 staff members from its video game workforce, and amid a boom time for Bethesda's Fallout series following the breakout hit Prime Video TV show. The closure of Tango Gameworks hits just over a year after the launch of Hi-Fi Rush, what many considered to be one of the best Xbox games in recent years. Tweeting in April 2023, Aaron Greenberg, vice president of Xbox Games Marketing at Microsoft, addressed concern that Hi-Fi Rush had failed to meet sales targets, calling the game, quote, a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. Greenberg continued with more, quote, we couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. Hi-Fi Rush launched on PS5 as part of Microsoft's new multi-platform push in March. In a series of tweets, Arkane Lyon chief Dinga Bakaba hit out at the cuts, calling them, quote, absolutely terrible. And, quote, to any executive reading this, friendly reminder that video games are an entertainment cultural industry, and that your business as a corporation is to take care of your artists, entertainers, and help them create value for you. Bakaba continued, quote, don't throw us into gold fever gambits. Don't use us as straw men for miscalculations, blind spots. Don't make our work environments Dornus jungles. You say we make you proud when we make a good game. Make us proud when times are tough. We know you can. We've seen it before. For now, great teams are sunsetting before our eyes again, and it's a fucking gut stab. Leon is safe, but please be tactful and discerning about all this, and respect affected folks' voice and leave it room to be heard. It's their story to tell, their feelings to express. Inside baseball, but if I read immersive sim curse from the community, especially from a fellow dev, I swear to God, please, let's talk about the real challenges instead of rehashing irrational anxieties of the past. Even more inside baseball, but with a very, very wide range. As a wise and sorely missed man said, please stop. Layoffs are sweeping the video game industry, with a number of high-profile studios cutting staff or shutting down, in stark contrast to a year of blockbuster video game hits. One of the biggest ongoing industry trends in 2023 was the prevalence of mass layoffs, and they have continued into 2024. While actual figures are difficult to obtain, estimates suggest the number of workers laid off in games last year approached or exceeded 10,000. A recent GDC survey of developers suggests 1/3 of all game developers were impacted by layoffs last year, either directly or by witnessing them happen at their company. That was a doozy. That was a lot, guys. I want to start kind of just saying, as everybody knows, I've been a pretty faithful Xbox, fan for a while. I was excited when Bethesda was purchased. I was excited when Activision was purchased, but I think, in my honest opinion, I think Microsoft purchasing Activision was actually a mistake now, because we haven't seen anything good come out of this personally. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of studios have been closed. We've seen a lot of this happen with Embracer. For years, Microsoft has pulled this, like, we're the good guys attitude, and we're here for the gamers. We're here for the developers. They pretty much acted like they're saving Blizzard, by purchasing Blizzard, which, who knows, maybe they are not. I do not know. I haven't been really happy with Blizzard either in quite a while, for many reasons, with games and with the way that they conduct themselves as a business, and also with the way that they treat their staff. But I don't know. It's like, it's hard to see somebody like Phil Spencer come out and say all these things like, hey, we messed up, we're going to make it better. And like, even in their documentary, they talked about how they made a mistake by closing down Lionhead Studios, the original makers of Fable, and how they even said in that documentary that they weren't going to do that again. But here we have them closing down very successful studios. I almost kind of understand the two, like, smaller, like, mobile developer studios, right? That almost kind of makes sense if they're not performing well. Not that I want to say closing down studios is something that needs to happen, but like, it sucks to say, and I say this with all earnest respect, like, in those situations, business is business, right? But you have Tango Gameworks, who makes, Game Award winning games. And then you have Arkane Austin, which made Deathloop, right? That was a Game of the Year winning game when that came out. Was that 2022? Right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or was that Leon, or was that Austin that made that one?
I think it might have been Arcane Lion.
Oh yeah, let me see.
Double check. I'm fact checking it really quick.
I mean, I know that they I'm pretty sure they
Arcane
did
Lion for Deathloop.
Oh, they did. Okay.
But Arcane Austin did Prey, man, and that was like
And Prey was fantastic.
That's such an underrated fucking game.
I know that game didn't sell well, but I bought a physical copy of that game, and I love that game because that game has the kind of like BioShocky, like Dead Space feel to it,
Yeah, dude.
right up my alley. And it's just really disappointing.
Dishonored franchise, like literally the entire Dishonored franchise.
Austin did that?
Yeah.
That's one of the most celebrated action RPG games of our generation. That franchise.
Yeah.
This is it's
it's sad, bro.
It's really sad to see that, and there's going to be a numerical number eventually, probably by the end of this week, of how many people lost their jobs over this, and I'm going to tell you, it was probably over 1,000 people, easily between all these studios. I just can't, in good faith, anymore.
Well, I stand corrected. I'm going to correct myself right here, right now.
Okay.
It was Bethesda, Bethesda published, and then the first title was developed completely independently by Arkane Lion, and then Arkane Lion did the other two again after the Bethesda acquisition. So they did
Okay.
not do Austin did
Okay.
not do Dishonored.
Dishonored.
Yeah.
Okay, was Austin
Sorry
just
about- yeah.
made to make Redfall? Was that a newer
Prey and
studio?
They did Redfall, and they did Prey, and then they did Redfall that I'm looking at here. They don't have like
Okay.
a long history aside from that. But it was also Roundhouse was also involved in the early development of Redfall.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've been on record before. I said Redfall was just a disaster, and even with the update,
It wasn't a good
never
game.
pulled me
It wasn't.
back in. It's not. But it sucks to see a studio get closed because a game didn't work out. You know what I mean? But what I wanted to say too is
thing-
like,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just like in good faith, I can no longer look at Phil Spencer as a fan and be like, he's the good guy of gaming anymore, you know, because he is the CO of Xbox games, and these closures are happening after him becoming, you know, the chief officer of Xbox games. And
Yeah.
I know that he is the public face, and I know there are a couple people above him in the greater Microsoft thing, but like,
But the thing
There-
is, though, is he's gone on record, man. He's gone
Yeah.
on record to say things that like paint a very different picture than their company's their motto is not like their company's motto and philosophy is not matching their actions at all right now. And like that's the thing that's like I'm finding really bothersome about this. I want to cite an email from Phil Spencer from 2021 real quick that
Please do.
says so this is from so it says from Phil Spencer. This is from March 19th in 2021. This was the subject says GP relatives to studios. And Phil Spencer says, I don't think we've ever closed a studio due to the studio's P&L, profit and loss. And it's almost either always been from their leadership leaving, Lionhead as an example, or the team just losing its passion, Ensemble as an example. And you want to know what? This doesn't feel like that. This really does feel to me like investors are starting to get really heavily involved in their decisions in the way that Microsoft needs to be steered. And this shit doesn't ever feel good to your consumer when you've just spent billions of dollars acquiring another studio. Right? Like don't and then you like and like I understand the idea of like restructuring. I do. Like because at the end of the day, Devin is right, and this is a business, right? It is a cultural business, it is an entertainment business, and those things are valid, right? But like at what point are we considering the art and like the stuff going into these games more so than these companies' bottom dollars, which is where I think a lot of this is coming from. Now, I'm not going to make assumptions as to why this happened. Obviously, Microsoft declined to expand for a reason, and it's because they're probably not ready to share because they're probably going to face some backlash. I'm sure more will come out about this in the following weeks, but like Tango Gameworks should outright closing that fucking studio and not divesting it at all is wild to
Yeah,
me.
Very insane.
Wild
Yeah.
to me.
it's
Dude,
insane.
Because like you're gonna divest Arkane Austin, what, just because that they have the Arkane name, the prefix at the front of their studio name, and you can like happily seat them into the Arkane Lion shit? That's whack, man. Because Tango Gameworks is responsible for Evil Within 2, and yeah, sure, Hi-Fi Rush like was a shadow drop game that nobody was really expecting, and that those sorts of releases by nature result in lower sales numbers because there wasn't a marketing campaign done behind it, right? But also on the flip side, those games tend to have lower budgets on the marketing end, right? So everything that's being made from that game should have just been pure fucking profit. Like, after they've met their development costs, like, and you've now released that game on a second platform, and you didn't give it even any chance to succeed before shutting the studio down, is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that thought process.
Yeah, I mean, this just kind of goes with like a lot of the articles we've been seeing coming out from like Square Enix, right? They're disappointed in their profits from sales on Final Fantasy Rebirth now. They said they were disappointed in their profits on Final Fantasy 16 as well. They canceled some projects and some unannounced games to reallocate 140 million and take a loss, right?
Honestly,
Like a lot of I think, unless it's like a major blockbuster, like AAA title that is tied to like the platform, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo, I think all their other like AA, AAA games that are not the major blockbuster of the year, these games need to be multi-platform at launch. They need to be. It doesn't work anymore to make them exclusive.
And they're closing these studios because they're not making their money. And also, honestly, like I have something that I've been thinking about for a while now about like the way that the game industry chooses to conduct itself. And honestly, if shit like this is going to run rampant and continue to happen, we're 5 months in to 2024, and I swear to God, we get some shit news about studios closing or mass layoffs at least once a freaking month. Like, I am gonna need these developers, these publishers. I'm gonna need receipts, folks. I'm gonna need film industry level. What is your fucking budget? Why wasn't it a success? I need fucking figures, y'all. It wasn't a financial success. We're disappointed is no longer just good enough. To me, as a consumer, as a content creator, as a reviewer, I'm fucking mad. I'm pissed at this shit because you guys are hiding behind shadow figures and investors and all this other stuff that are dictating your guys' like ebb and flow of the way you guys choose to conduct what is supposed to be an entertainment industry. And you want to know what? You're entertaining fucking nobody when you're not appropriately divesting your studios, when you're overreaching with your acquisition of studios just to try to stay relevant in the gaming space because you as a first party publisher and developer for the last fucking decade have had your head so far up your ass that you're not releasing good titles, right? Halo Infinite might be okay now, but that was not an okay launch, dude. No other studio would have ever gotten gotten away with that bullshit piecemeal fucking release that they did. And the only reason it worked was because Game Pass existed. The only reason. This is bullshit behavior. I need industry transparency. This is no longer acceptable. If stuff is not a success, I need to know why. We as your consumers need to know why. Inappropriate sales figures and just not meeting standards, that's not sufficient enough. You need to give us the figures. You need to tell us what your guys' budgeting was for that game's development, what your marketing budget was, and what you guys are expecting on a return investment. The film industry does this. The TV industry does this. Fuck, every other industry does this. It's time for you guys to get on board, game industry, because no more of these shadow games. No more of this bullshit, laying off thousands of people at a time just because the industry's made it normal and acceptable. I'm so tired of all of these businesses and these publishers and these companies spending billions and billions of dollars to literally acquire other studios just to get their IP rights and then close the fucking studio down. I'm looking at you, Embracer. Fuck you. And if you're going to keep doing this shit, Microsoft, honestly, you're on my shit list too. Because I'm not like, Phil doesn't get a pass anymore, man. Like, you don't get to say the stuff that you've been saying, being positive, carrying that flag, and then your business that you're supposedly carrying this anthem for is literally 180 doing the opposite of what you're saying in interviews, press conferences, podcasts. Figure it out.
Thank you.
Well
Thank you,
said.
Garrick. DJ, do you have any insight, any thoughts about this at all?
Nah, man. I mean, Garrick hit it nail in the coffin, brother. Like, hit it on the head, bro. Like, it's a problem, and like, and we've been talking about this for a long time. I think with every news that comes out about layoffs and stuff, like, we want to see some transparency in this industry. We can't keep assuming that, oh, you're doing this out of the best interest of these companies and us as the consumer. We can't buy into that lie anymore. Um, and I hope gamers as a whole and consumers as a whole that consume gaming content and stuff like that, I hope they're smartening up. As it was really cool seeing the Helldivers 2 stuff, which we will get into. But I hope we're all getting smarter with our wallets and understanding that these corporations are not our friends, and when they try to be, it's a weird thing, bro. Like, get away. Like, we know you just trying to make a
Don't
buck.
fall for the trap of the interpersonal relationship with the company.
Yeah, I almost feel dirty having Game Pass right now. Am I alone here with that?
Yeah, a
I'm
little bit.
definitely not. I definitely today and this week, like this past week, I'm not feeling good as a console owner and as like a console gamer. Like Microsoft made some pretty shitty decisions this year. PlayStation's made some pretty fucking shitty decisions this year. I don't understand a lot of it because you guys are just, like DJ said, just feeding us the same bullshit lies every time one of these events happen and expect us to just be okay with it, and we're not okay with it. We're talking about it now.
Yeah.
It's starting to actually impact people's lives. Like, this is way more than just us making sure we're getting good games. Like, getting good games should just be the fucking byproduct of treating your fucking employees appropriately, making sure that they have a place to do their goddamn job, right? Because you want to know why you're not getting these good products, why you're not getting these good games, because you're not treating your fucking employees like they're people. So they're fucking like, okay, what? So like losing their passion. Of course, a company that's like lost its leadership because they've just been bought out twice in the last 3 fucking years. You know, their heads of developers and their publishers have all sorts of different ideas for what they need to be investing is to make an appropriate turnaround for their next title. God, Redfall's a perfect example of why buying like these acquisitions mid-development is not a great fucking idea. Redfall turned out the way it did because of the Bethesda acquisition. That merger fucked that game to the point to where they were literally left with no direction, to the point to where the developers were just like, we don't even want to continue making this game. That's that loss of passion they're talking about, right? And that loss of passion was literally happened due to fucking management. Like, that should have never happened. What a gross oversight on Microsoft's part. You're going to spend hundreds of thousands, millions, billions of dollars to make an acquisition and then not take care of those studios you just bought.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep. Yeah, you couldn't say it. I couldn't say that better myself. Now, like, I do want to point out, like, Phil Spencer is obviously he's the big guy of Xbox, right? He is. We do know that he reports to a board of investors. We know that he has a whole executive team at Microsoft above him as well. You know, I do want to say I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt or giving him a pass, but it's very possible that he had nothing to do with this decision, and this could have been something that has been pushed upon him and that he's been trying to fight off for a long time. You know,
Dude, but even if that is the case, it's his
Yep.
job to make sure that he is clear and upfront. Don't
Exactly.
carry the fucking torch, right? Don't carry the I'm the good guy flag if you know that that's a hollow message because the people above you don't have the same philosophy and ideals. That's literally why we end up in like the terminal that we're in right now.
Yeah.
It's because I'm sure that Phil Spencer as an individual does feel that way, but it doesn't change the fact that we're seeing one thing and then getting another.
Yeah, 100%. And I do want to hear from him. I do want to hear from
Me too, man.
Microsoft. I want to hear from Xbox, you know. I want to hear from
Howard.
Sarah Bond. I want to hear from Aaron Greenberg. I want to hear from Matt Booty. I want to hear these I want to hear honest explanations and why the decisions were made. I don't want to hear an apology. I want to hear honest explanations. That's what I want.
I don't want apologies. I don't want corporate jargon. I want metrics, and I want metrics and reasoning. Something that you would be able that you are going to like feel good sitting down to another individual and be like, this is why you lost your fucking job.
Yeah. I want to know the business conversation onto why this happened. And I think we are going to get that. Especially with the way that the community is speaking out and developers are speaking out. I mean, they have heads of their own studios who are publicly speaking out against this right now. But I think this is going to be something we're definitely going to be touching on in future episodes of Death Ratio, and we will be coming back to this 100%. We have a couple more quick news stories that I want to get to here before we get to our main topic tonight. DJ, could you take this next one?
Yes, sir. Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer will require a PlayStation Network sign-in on PC. This comes from Kenneth Shepard at Kotaku, and it says, Sucker Punch's open-world samurai game, Ghost of Tsushima, is getting a Steam port this month that will require a PlayStation Network account to access its multiplayer mode. If this sounds familiar, it's because Sony recently announced that the, quote, grace period for the beloved multiplayer game Helldivers 2 was over, and Steam users would have to sign into PlayStation Network to keep playing the shooter on their PC. After a weekend of backlash, Sony reversed the policy. Helldivers 2 players might be safe from this, but it seems like this will still be implemented in future Sony published games on Steam, as evidenced by Ghost of Tsushima. The 2020 action game is coming to PC on May 16th. And after the Helldivers hoopla, some are hesitant to buy Sony games on the Steam storefront. Sucker Punch posted a tweet promoting the PC version, and a user responded, claiming that they canceled their pre-order in the wake of Sony's policy. Sucker Punch responded by saying that while a PSN account would be required to play the game's Legends multiplayer mode, Ghost of Tsushima campaign will be playable without a separate sign-in. This exchange happened on Friday, May the 3rd, 2 days before Helldivers Arrowhead Studios reversed its policy requiring a PlayStation sign-in on Steam. What's unclear at this moment is if Ghost of Tsushima will follow suit or if Sony will make it a requirement from the outset rather than adding it months later like Helldivers tried to. The backlash was largely because this requirement was added after the fact and after players flocked to the game for months. However, the PSN requirement also excludes players in parts of the world that can't make accounts for PlayStation's online services, and Helldivers 2 has been sold in those territories. So for some players, it's a lot more complicated than just linking one account to another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously we're probably gonna dive into this in a little bit more detail, but I would not be shocked because this came out like I think 2 days before they reverse the Helldivers stuff. So I don't know if it'll be fully reversed, but I bet you they are highly considering making it an optional thing, because obviously like the argument from the business standpoint is like that Sony wants Like they want your metrics. That's literally, they want your information. That's why. There's no other reason for them to want you to sign in. Like they just want to track your shit. They want to know how many people are playing their game. They want a true look at how many people are playing their game and spending money on their game. And they can't do that accurately while also, while not being able to have true access to the Steam metrics.
Yeah.
Like,
Which I don't think is terrible
that's the
at all.
business armor. Like,
I don't
obviously,
think
and that's fine. Like we're we'll get into it a little bit more. Like, obviously, like, I don't want to like spend too much time on it here, but like, I wouldn't be shocked if this just got like de facto reversed out, like in a few weeks from now or closer to the launch. They'll be like, oh, by the way, you don't actually need that. Like we've decided because Sony doesn't have multiplayer games on cross-platform, on multi-platforms, right? Like this is new territory for them, so they're fumbling the ball pretty hard right now, if you ask me. But yep,
I could see them. Well, I don't know if this would happen, but this would almost make sense. If you want your Ghost of Tsushima to Director's Cut to be crossplay with PS5 versions of the game for the multiplayer, they might require a PlayStation sign-in, which kind of makes sense, I mean, not in the grand scheme of things, because like I play Battlefield 2040 or 42 all the time, but as an example, right, I could have that game through Game Pass or Steam. When I launch that game, it diverts directly to the EA launcher on PC. And you have to use your EA account to play that game on PC.
Yeah, no, like doesn't matter if you bought it through Epic, doesn't matter if you bought it through Steam. It automatically boosts to their proprietary launcher.
It's not the only, like it's the same thing. If you buy Final Fantasy 14 on Steam, it has its own Square Enix launcher with your own Square Enix account. You have to use that with.
GTA,
a lot of games
Red Dead
do that.
Redemption 2,
Exactly.
like Rockstar's got their own thing. Yeah, so like the practice of asking you to link an account is not uncommon and not necessarily the problem. But
yeah, and we'll talk more about that later. But it's wild that they have to announce that that's going to be a thing, and it's wild to me that people are just now getting upset over it just because Sony's doing it. I mean, fucking Xbox does it too.
A lot of companies do it. We'll talk about it. Because a lot of companies do it.
Garrick, can you take this next story?
Absolutely. Nintendo Switch successor will be revealed by April 2025. This is coming from George J at GameSpot. Nintendo has announced that the successor for the Switch will be revealed within this fiscal year, which ends in April 2025. Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa took to the Nintendo's Japanese Twitter account saying, "We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within the fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we have announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. As part of an earnings call, Furukawa was asked about the nature of the new system. According to MST financial analyst David Gibson, he responded, "Switch's next model is the appropriate way to describe it." So looks like we're definitely going to be getting just an evolution,
which makes me stoked. Which
we've pondered on that a lot. We've had whole episodes about it, indicating that the new system won't be a massive departure from the original Switch. Previous Nintendo consoles, going from GameCube to Wii to Wii U to Switch, saw radical changes to the basic concept of the hardware. In this tweet, Furukawa also said that there will be a Nintendo Direct presentation this June showcasing content for the latter half of 2024, but it won't contain any information about the Nintendo Switch successor. There are also rumors that the Switch successor was going to launch sometime this year, but recent reports suggest that it was pushed back to 2025 instead. The device will reportedly have a magnetic Joy-Con controllers rather than the rail-equipped ones the current Switch uses. However, the Pro controller is expected to be backwards compatible with the successor.
That makes me happy. That last part makes me happy. It's cool that they're going to keep that same design. I'm sure they'll come out with a newer Pro controller that'll be...
And I will probably buy it as long as it keeps the same base one, because that's like one of my favorite controllers ever.
Yeah. I see them like kind of maybe taking on the trend with all the pro controller stuff and putting paddles on it
The
or
paddles.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
even if
They
it's
have
just one
third-party
button on each
controllers that,
side.
yeah, they've had third-party controllers that do that, but it's about time they joined in on the first, on
Mhm.
like the
I have
first
one
party
too.
Elite game.
I have a third party controller that does that too, but it's
Yeah,
wired.
I
It's
have
not
one that's got.
wireless.
Yeah, I have a paddled one that runs on batteries. It's not wired, but it's just like batteried rather than being like a true rechargeable. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm excited. It's time. Like
Yeah.
the Switch had a good long run. Like I'm pretty excited to get into like whatever Nintendo has next as far as their console's concerned. I just hope the hardware is significantly more powerful.
Same. Like at least on par with like the Series S, right? The Series S.
That's all
like,
I need. It
at
doesn't need to
least.
be anything above that.
Yeah. And DJ, do you think that you would get into the Nintendo game? I know you're primarily PC, but do you think a Nintendo console would be worth it to you? Because I know Garrick is going to do it. I know I'm going to do it. I'm pretty sure Ernell's going to do it too when the new system comes around.
Yep, probably.
Yeah, I might get it probably. I mean, I missed out on the Switch, and plus like I wanted to get it, but by the time I got it, it was like the pandemic, and then I'm like it was all sold out because everyone's like staying inside. They're like, oh, well,
Animal
let's buy a
Crossing,
Switch.
bro.
Yeah, Animal
Mhm.
Crossing, and then yeah, I've always wanted a Switch. I just couldn't. I couldn't justify buying it. Like
Mhm.
like at the time because I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like I felt like uh I would get the most use out of it. Like if I were like if I could bring it more places if I and
Mhm.
play it. But hopefully whatever they got cooking up will be cool. I'll
Yeah.
definitely tune in and definitely try to get my hands on one.
Yeah, I'm gonna pre-order one right away when it announces. Honestly, I'm
Only
not gonna
because
miss
we
out.
know they're going to be hard to get. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
miss out again.
Yeah, I have my Gen 1 Switch still to this day, and it's kicking.
Same.
Battery runs
It's my
well.
original.
Yeah, it's the perfect JRPG machine. It really is. It's the
Yeah, mine's like
playing
a Pokemon
RPGs.
machine.
Yeah, that checks. Granted, I have the Pokemon games too. I didn't beat Arceus. I played it for a few hours. I put a lot of time into Scarlet and got very disappointed with it and was like, why am I doing this to myself?
You played the
And
fuck out of Tears of the Kingdom, though.
oh yeah, I love Tears of the Kingdom. This is a fucking fantastic game. Should have been game of the year. But I digress. I digress. It's a great game. It's a great game. But yeah, I'm excited. They're definitely doing the magnetic thing. It's been everywhere.
That's the trend now for sure.
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Asus who just did that, or was it Lenovo? They just did like the Switch like magnetic controllers for their handheld.
Lenovo,
I'm pretty sure
I think it was
yeah,
theirs.
Lenovo. Yeah, I think it's a cool concept. Those magnets better be strong because I want my console to last a decade, like mine's about
Yeah,
to.
it's gonna need to be like a good design.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so glad that we're so beyond the era where like magnets fuck with technology. I hated that shit.
Yeah, remember when you could put them on your TV, like a CRTV?
It would literally,
it would like
dude,
turn
fuck your
purple.
TV up.
Yeah,
Dude. I'm so glad we're past that because
Mhm.
magnetic like concepts on anything, like I love that shit, dude. Especially like because magnets are fucking cheap. They're so
Yeah.
goddamn cheap. And like you can get strong ones for not a lot. So like as long as they're designed well and they've got like and they're not flimsy on the console, I'm for it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I am gonna say they should pull a Microsoft and announce the console at Game Awards. That'd be cool. You know,
That'd be
Jeff
sick.
Keighley would
That'd be
want
super
that.
sick.
You know, he'd want it.
He would totally take that.
Yeah. Well, moving on, guys. We're gonna talk about some game releases that are coming out. Ooga booga. But we don't have a lot coming out this week. But as of today, on May 7th, we have a couple games that came out. First one being Seed of Life. It's on PS5, Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. And we also had With My Past on PC, a couple indie games that came out today. Tomorrow, May 8th, we are getting the 1.0 launch release of V Rising on PC. That's right, the survival isometric dungeon crawler V Rising will be available for its 1.0 official launch.
Good
No
game.
more early
Great
access.
fucking game, even.
Yep, very, very good game. Very good game. On May 9th, we have a few releases coming out. That'll be Animal Well on PS5, Switch, and PC. Then we have Crow Country on PS5, Xbox Series X, S, PC. We were going to say something about that?
Animal Well just sounds like sounds like a spooky game.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. It almost kind of looks like a Spirit Fair, but like a horror Spirit Fair type of thing. And the other game, which is a Garrett game, it's called Little Kitty Big City. And that's coming out on
yeah, I haven't
Xbox
seen
Series
all that
XS,
game.
Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And
Oh, it's an adventure game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
Well, with that being said, guys, we have definitely reached the final part of our show tonight. And we are going into the end game. You should have aimed for the head. Ooh,
this looks amazing. I'm gonna play the shit out of
game.
I'm totally playing Little Kitty Big City, bro.
Little Kitty Big City. I
what's
told you it looks like a Garrett game. It's 100% on that.
Even play that. Don't play that for sure.
Guys, in our headlining topic of tonight for the end game, is review bombing worth it? Now,
Spoilers. Apparently, yes.
Yeah. In this very rare case, yes. Which I do have a story from Game Informer by Wesley LeBlanc that's regarding the Sony requirements for signing on to Helldivers 2 and the rollback from the community review bombing Helldivers 2 on Steam. And I'm going to read this article. It's got two stories. It's got the original story about the announcement and then also a part 2 about the rollback. And I know this kind of feels like more news, but I feel like this article is very detrimental to the conversation we're about to have. So I wanted to get in on this here. So I'm going to start with the original article here from May 3rd, just earlier this last week. And developer Arrowhead Game Studios and Sony Interactive Entertainment have announced that Helldivers 2 on Steam will soon require a PlayStation Network account to play. All new players from May 30th will have to link their Steam account to PSN account, and all current players will have to do so by June 4th. Up until this point, PSN account was not required to play Helldivers 2 on PC via Steam, and with the sudden switch up, players have taken to the game's Steam reviews to express their frustration admittedly, and the game's rating is still very positive, with roughly 80% of users falling into this category. That changed pretty fast. I remember, Garrick, we were looking at that. It was about mostly negative or mixed with about 50-something% last time we checked.
Yeah, we're gonna. We'll get into some of the deets here after you're done with the article. I got all sorts of shit.
Yeah. And that was lower than it has been in weeks prior. Now, to look at the game's recent reviews, you'll find plenty of negative ratings over the required PSN account change. A lot of people just saying they should have never done that. They don't know why they bought the game now. They're upset. They're trying to get a refund, blah, 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 blah. So Sony Interactive Entertainment says due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. That grace period will now expire. That expiration begins on May 6th for new players and June 4th for current players. While frustration is understood, it's important to note a PlayStation console is not required to create a PSN account. Creating one is free and can be done online. No PlayStation 5 required. Sony Interactive Entertainment encourages players to do so ahead of the June 4th change. Quote, "We understand that while this may be an inconvenience to some of you, this step will help us continue to build a community that you are all proud to be a part of." The announcement reads. Now, so for more, they have a Democratic Detonation Premium War Bond that's dropping for Helldivers. Does that count? Did that come out today? I think.
No, that's the one we got with like a week ago or two with the crossbow and shit. That's old news.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So we're going to move on to the update that came out. It was today. It was today. Drax just said so in chat.
Democratic Detonation definitely did not come out today.
Oh. Oh, isn't the new one like winter or something?
Yeah, the new one's the winter one, and that releases next month. Democratic Detonation, or that's later this month. Democratic
Mhm.
Detonation was the April one that featured the Adjudicator, the Eruptor, and the Grenade
Okay,
pistol.
okay. We'll walk back on that one. So we're gonna do the update that came out yesterday here. PlayStation will not be requiring Helldivers 2 players to link their Steam accounts to PlayStation Network accounts following widespread backlash from the games community. This follows days of turmoil amongst players, leading to Helldivers 2 on Steam dropping from a mostly positive rated game to mixed for all reviews and mostly negative for recent reviews. Even the first Helldivers started receiving bad reviews as a result of this, according to developer Arrowhead Game Studios CEO Johan Pilistet. Pilistet. Okay, so I said it right the second time. Quote, "Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on Helldivers 2 account linking update." A post made today on Twitter reads, "The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. We're still learning what is the best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans." Following this news, Pilistet took to Twitter to thank PlayStation for the change while noting how impressed they are with the Helldivers 2 community. And I'm going to read his tweet here. "Firstly, I am impressed by the willpower of the Helldivers 2 community and your ability to collaborate. Secondly, I want to thank our partners and friends at PlayStation for quickly and effectively making the decision to leave PSN linking optional. We together want to set a new standard for what a live game is and how developers and community can support each other to create the best game experiences." And that was them retweeting and quoting the PlayStation announcement of no longer having to do that. So with this change not moving forward, the Helldivers 2 community can hopefully return to killing bugs and automatons in the name of democracy with no need for linked accounts or review bombing. Today is a wild episode, guys, with lots of news, and I have talked a lot. So please, why don't you gentlemen take it away here?
Garrett, he's got stuff loaded.
Well, this was a really unfortunate fucking debacle. I have never seen a more like a better working example of like paying for the sins of your father, because Arrowhead did not make this decision, folks. They've openly said that even the developers were not excited about them making this change a requirement rather than keeping it optional. A little bit of context and some figures and stuff kind of around this. So the reason this became so prevalent was because there was hundreds of countries that were basically going to be blacklisted from the game, and all of these players were going to be told, "Oh yeah, you spent $40 to $60 on this title. You're now going to be required to use PSN to play our game because it is a persistent, always online title. And oh, by the way, your country doesn't have access to PSN, so you're literally just fucked. Like, and there was I was on. I remember when this got announced, the subreddit was on fire, the Discord was up in flames. Everybody was just like, "You can do this with a VPN, dude." People were going and like, I saw some players in China who don't have who have like restricted PSN access in their country, basically lose access to their PSN. Their PSN account got straight up banned because they tried to access it via a VPN, which is against Sony's terms of like service and a bunch of other fucking things, dude. And like it devolved further to where like now like we get to the review bombing stage, and we saw at first this was just a genuine review bombing. This was the community expressing outrage via the reviews on their Steam page, but something greater happened where the developers saw an opportunity and they were like, "You want to know what, guys? We're not really happy with this change either. Let's see if we can do something about that." So the CEO of Arrowhead Games went to Twitter and legitimately asked the player base to go and change their positive reviews to negative, to tell Sony, "Hey, this shit's not okay. We're not happy about this change. And if you want us to continue playing your live service title that we're spending money on, things need to be better than this." And as a result, that game experienced an influx of 150,000 negative reviews in 24 hours. That shit is unprecedented. That was so much, to the point to where they had to start delisting the game in the countries that were impacted negatively due to the lack of PSN access. Now, not all of those countries have regained access to the game since they've rolled this back. But since they've rolled back the initial requirement, a very strange thing has happened that doesn't ever happen. The player base is actively going back and repairing their review scores. They're changing them from negative back to positive again. The game's now sitting at a mixed review. I think all time it's sitting at like 69%. Nice. Across the board. But like War Thunder, another game that's like a persistent online, that's a PvP game that had some shitty pay to win mechanics and things that they decided to change up on their player base. That game got review bombed into oblivion, and that developer was kind of forced to roll back some of their decisions as a result of that as well. But I feel like this was a way more effective use of the player voice. Like, this is what voting with your wallets looks like, people, in practice. That's literally what this looks like. And I found it very interesting because like the whole point of like Helldivers as a game is to get hundreds of thousands of people to like march towards the same objective and get it done. And the community really showed that like the game has trained us to work as a unit because we fucking banded together and we got it done. This was a problem not because of the login requirement, and it was a blind side to their player base. If this would have pressed forward, it would have been ripe for a lawsuit. Because I can't see a world where a game has been sold in hundreds of countries where its access to that game in those countries is now suddenly going to be ripped away. That's got to be false advertisement or fraud on some level. I'm not like a lawyer by any means, but that shit reads red flags to me across the fucking board. Another thing that like I found really interesting on this, that like a lot of people like, there is a flip side to this. If you ask me, the people that were on the early stages of this review bombing, fuck you. Because you weren't a part of the movement. You were just part of the boo-boo kitty fucks that were literally just mad that this was a Sony practice. And I saw a lot of things around this that were just like, man, Sony's got a security breach. Pause. Stop. I'm going to stop you right there. Since 2015, Steam has experienced at least 80,000 security breaches a day. A day. So your argument that Sony's like gonna like breach and sell off your data, or that they're gonna get hacked, is shallow at best. Like, just say you don't want to support Sony, and that's fine. Like, let's just be honest about our intentions here, folks. Okay? Because a data breach, that's like, I get it. Protect your data. I understand, but don't say you want to protect your data and then have a Steam account, because that, like, I've never had my Steam account breached, but I've had people try. I've gotten the emails. I know you guys probably have gotten them too, right? Like that, like that. Steam is literally probably the most hacked fucking gaming platform on the planet. Like, so don't come at me and come onto Steam and tell us that like you're not doing this to just. To because Sony is a security risk for your data. That's a bullshit argument, man. Like, that's just straw man shit. Like, the problem is that Sony pulled a Sony move. They wanted to capitalize on the data. They wanted to, and make no mistake, like, these companies sell your data, folks. It's part of their business model, right? Every time you sign those little things that say you agree to all of it, because I don't read the fucking contract. I know you guys don't read that shit either. You scroll to the bottom and hit agree, just like the rest of us. But all of us, and most of the time, that includes giving them permission to scrape your game's data for metrics, right? And they're not getting true metrics by not having your shit linked on Steam. And so as a result, like, Sony felt like they were missing out on a slice of their pie, right? And they wanted that slice of their pie back. But this is also one of those cases where they learned that maybe they can't have their fucking cake and eat it too. Yes, I absolutely made those two analogies back to back on purpose. But like, it's mind-blowing to me that like Sony thinks that they can get away with this and that people are going to be okay with it, right? Secondary subscriptions and or account linking, that's common practice, folk. If you're just now getting upset about that practice, you should basically not be playing online video games. Epic, Steam, Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, Capcom, Rockstar, all of these publishers make you link your shit. That's not the problem here, folks. The transparency about why you want us to link your shit, and then making it not only an optional, but then forcing it as a requirement onto your players, that was the no-no here. That was the big thing. And the player base chose to vote with their wallet. And you know what? People were getting refunds, folks. And I guarantee you the refunds helped just as much as the review bombing did, because it was reversing that positive sales that they've experienced over months of success from this game. Right? Sony doesn't want to lose that. So of course they're gonna reverse, and they're gonna eat some crow and be like, wait, stop refunding, guys. We need you guys to keep fucking buying this game, because we have plans for this shit for the future. And like, obviously there's no future if everybody refunds. So like, this was just a very interesting study to me as to like, yeah, obviously, like in this case, the review bombing really probably was worth it, right?
Yep.
But like, the practice of review bombing just because you're unhappy, that's not okay, right?
No.
Using your shallow arguments and your personal BS against like Sony as a publisher, like when Arrowhead as the developer, like didn't have a say. I understand that like Arrowhead chose to lay in bed with Sony by signing a publishing contract with them. I'm not an idiot, right, folks? Like I get that.
Which was a good
right?
move
But
too.
it was a good move. Sony has power, but you guys can't play the game. You guys can't play a fucking Sony first-person game and then say you hate Sony. You guys can't do that. It's so contradictory, right? So, like, pick your lane. Decide what you're being upset about here, folks. Right? Are we upset that security is a security breach, or are we really pissed that 128 fucking countries just lost access to one of the best games of the year? Right? Like, what are we really reviewing this for? Right? Right? Like, 'cause that's what we're talking about here. Like, was this review bomb worth it? This only became an effective, coordinated effort because that developer chose to get involved. There are so many other times where most of these people are literally just review bombing because something doesn't align with their personal ideologies, which is what the first chunk of these review bombs really were.
Yeah, and like moving on, I'm glad you touched on the account linking stuff because it's a normal practice. If that's what they wanted, it should have just been there from the very start of the game, right? And just like how any other game that is released, that is the biggest fumble that we've seen Sony make in regards to this game. And it's quite possibly, besides like the connection issues and some of the bugs at launch, the only fumble like that this IP has had.
I hope it's the only fumble.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they
Just so
learn their
far.
lesson
So
and that
far.
they need to let Arrowhead cook because
Yeah.
they've obviously shown they're onto something great here, and they just need to let it be. Like, let the success be success, right? Learn from your mistakes, Sony, right? Like, and I'm thinking that's why they're choosing to be transparent now about the Ghost of Tsushima requirements, because they don't want to experience the same level of backlash, right? But now, if folks want to review bomb Ghost of Tsushima for having that same requirement, now that argument's a lot more shallow, in my opinion, right? Because they've expressed that, like, hey, this is only for the multiplayer portion of the game, not the single player portion of the game, right? The developers have expressed clarity on that because that developer is now worried that they're going to get review bombed for the same decision Sony made.
Yep. And you know, I do want to give some more examples too of some review bombing that's happened recently. I know DJ that there was some stuff going on with Tekken, right? Not too long ago.
Yeah, dude. The Tekken people got mad about the
the
implementation of a battle
microtransactions.
pass, microtransactions. Yeah, the storefront. And to me, it didn't matter to me because it wasn't like I still play the game. I still love the game, but I didn't really know where the outrage came from. I guess it's because like people paid for a $70 game and expected a lot of content to come in free when that was never the case. Like they said everything they adding into the game, like the storefront, it's like Bandai Namco's thing. Like they use it to keep updating the game and keep the servers running. Because, but that's
servers
the
cost
thing. Like
money.
we were talking about like last time. Like Tekken is still classified as a game and not a live service. So it's it's a weird space that game is in. Yeah, I don't know. It's the review bombing is not going to change what Tekken's going to put in the game. People still going to play it. People still enjoy the game. I feel like the people who review bomb it don't actually like. You're not participant in like the fighting game community, if that makes sense. Because like if you're in the FGC and like you're around it, like you don't really care. Like it doesn't. It's not. None of it's pay to win. It's just all cosmetics. DLC characters have always been you pay extra,
Right.
you either buy the
Yep.
character pass. I will say that people were complaining like the newest character they added, Eddie. He was in a previous installment, a part of the main roster, but now he's DLC. But like they can do whatever. Like this still has a robust cast, right? Without Eddie, like that's just who they chose to keep, and chose to take away. But also, you can't practice with him. Like you can't take him into the practice mode if you don't own him as a character. So like
Mhm.
if you don't want to buy Eddie, you don't want to play, you don't think I'm playing him, you can't lab him out. You can't practice against it to like lab out like your punishes and like how to counter Eddie. So I think that is way more of a valid reason. I think that's probably why most people like part of the bad reviews came from that. The review bombing came from that, but I feel like I've seen a lot more about just the implementation of the battle pass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're
I
working on
think
fixing a lot of stuff.
People tend to bandwagon like on those review bomb trends too. Like especially when you're just like yeah, fuck Sony. Like I fucking hate Sony too, bro. And they're just
Yeah.
like they're in there with their torches and their pitchforks. They're like, yeah, man, I fucking like, or like literally with the Tekken thing. It probably had nothing to do with Tekken. They're just like, I can't fucking stand microtransactions.
Yeah.
Then don't fucking be the person to spend money on them. Like
Mhm.
you as the individual player are never going to get rid of a single practice in gaming. Like it's not going to happen, right? Because there's 50, 100,000 bajillion other goddamn players spending the money on those microtransactions. So like
Mhm.
do the thing and vote with your wallet, right? But
Yeah,
don't just jump on the train like because you're upset about a single aspect of the game, right?
Mhm.
Like
I love
like,
aspects.
does account linking dampen your gameplay experience? Absolutely not. So why does that impact your review?
Yeah.
Right? That's the shit that I don't understand, right? I was just like, when you're reviewing these games, right? Like, I expect you to come from a place of like, why are you doing this? What's your logic behind this, right? And so many review bombing practices are not that. This event was the exception that proves the rule because like I said, this was a coordinated effort and it was only successful because the developers were just as unhappy as the community and directly got involved.
Now I want to say, like, we were talking about some gross review bombing practices. Very recently we had review bombing over Stellar Blade because quote unquote there wasn't enough cleavage in the skin.
Or like, censorship. Like, and the thing is like they're review bombing it for all three arguments. They're like, too much titties, not enough titties, and I'm literally seeing negative reviews on for both sides, and you're just so what are we arguing about here then, folks? Because guess what? Like the amount of titty doesn't even I genuinely don't even fucking know what the gameplay loop of Stellar Blade is because everybody is just arguing about Eve's fucking looks.
Yeah. And like touching on that too, it's like it's the review bombing we saw over The Last of Us Part 2. And those are two examples of some really gross practices where it's all just based off of like homophobia and misogyny. You know,
yes, dude, or that sort of shit, or literally like the review bombing of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. You can be allowed to not like that game. It's not a perfect game, right? But the shit from saying that like the game was bad because Rockstar became or because Rocksteady became woke. Get the fuck out of my face with that garbage,
you
man.
know,
that shit is trash. Like it's not that nobody became woke. Everybody is just finally allowed to be openly progressive with themselves, and you're behind the fucking times, you loser. That's not a valid thing to be review bombing a game for. Like it has nothing to do with the gameplay, has nothing to do with the story. They literally just want to like make the people in that community feel welcome in their gaming space. And if that upsets you, that's just don't buy that game, man. Don't play that fucking game. But don't leave a negative review on some shit you're never gonna play, never gonna touch, all because you're fucking mad that there's like a gay person in it. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm going to say this right now, too. Whether you're listening or watching this, if you use a sentence in any form or way that says, isn't that woke or that's too woke, I'm going to tell you right now, I fucking hate you.
You're a bigot. Yeah, you're a bigot.
I fucking hate you, okay? And I don't care if this pisses you off and you go on some tirade about it. But I recently was in a Discord call not too long ago. I can't even remember who said it, and I wouldn't say their name anyways. But I was talking about X-Men 97, and someone came in immediately and was like, "Isn't that show really woke?" And I was like, I asked them,
And
I
you're
was like, "What
yeah,
the fuck
brother,
does that mean?"
Always has been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like,
define that
"Do
for me
you?"
without outing yourself as a racist, please.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't.
Do you know what X-Men really is? Do you know what the metaphor is of X-Men? Do you know what the inclination of the whole mutants trying to be accepted by their families and the world? Do you know what this is a metaphor for? You know what I mean? It's just that whole argument, that whole statement, that whole sentence.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of that. And if you were review bombing
and that's
games
what review
because
bombing
you think
really is. That's for the. It's most of the time it's that sort of crap. It's not. It's not for anything real or constructive. Like this was really an exceptional case for so many reasons. But review bombing as a practice is some asshole boo-boo baby shit. Like it is literally like the lowest thing you could possibly be doing, especially when all you motherfuckers are just hopping on Metacritic and just downvoting something you don't even own into oblivion. Like, what's wrong with you? At least Steam has the process where you've got to own the title to be able to review something, right? But like, at least it's got like that sort of checks and balances in place, right? But like, there are so many people that like, how many motherfuckers do you think probably haven't played Helldivers 2? Like, and they're like, yeah, I liked it. It was great. Played it for 2 weeks at launch and literally just got back on to leave that negative review because they're pissed.
Yeah,
it's
probably
so
probably around 80,000 to tell you the truth. I do want to like go in. It's like we've seen some talk even like around our social spaces too, where people were talking ill of Helldivers just because of the whole Sony thing. And it's like, dude, also don't be hypocritical about your games complaining about account linking when there's games that out there that are so popular, like Call of Duty, that have account linking and everything too, you know, like it's, I just want to end that.
Mad about one and not the other.
Yeah. Don't take a hypocritical stance on things. Just because it's a company or a platform you just don't like because you just don't like it because of fanboy servicing bullshit. I just want to make that statement. I think we have said our piece on this. DJ, I know we've kind of talked a lot, not over you, but did give you a lot. Do you have any final things that you want to add in here at all today?
Not really, man. Like we all kind of hit it. Like it's a double-edged sword type of thing. Like I think when we were discussing the topic for like this topic for today's show, for tonight's show. I mean, it can work, but I think if it's organized right in
With
a way
purpose. It has to have a purpose.
It has to have a real genuine purpose and for real valid reasons. Like for Helldivers, like the people who made Arrowhead was like, this is out of our control. We want to give this to everybody, but Sony's like on our necks about it. Like, you know,
right. And it
the
became a
community does
coordinated effort
you know,
when literally countries lost access to the game. That was when that was the shifting point, because everybody was initially just mad that it was just Sony doing Sony stuff.
Yeah, it was just it's stuff like that, dude. Like I like seeing the community come together for that, and but it's gotten to the point where review bombing means nothing anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's done for so many different like games and IPs that it might just like I'm glad that for Helldivers, like it finally works. But like, how many times have things have been review bombed that have like, you know, have changed things with the game? Like I can't really think about anything major besides this one.
This and War Thunder, those are the only two. One other time, I think I've seen it work one other time, and it was with EA's Battlefront 2.
Yeah, and that was big, and that was A valid
but
reason.
but they had a valid reason because they had a valid reason to review bomb the game. There was ridiculously predatory microtransactions present, right? And there were like, and so what did they do? What did they do? They started refunding their copies. They started review bombing the shit out of it. They started openly expressing exactly why they were disappointed with the game. Exactly why they were disappointed with the game.
I was actually one of those people, to tell you the truth. And then when everything was fixed, I bought the game again.
Yeah, dude, me too. I was super mad because I loved the battle, yeah, I just don't think review bombing as a practice. I'm right there with you, DJ man. It doesn't mean shit anymore, and people do it too often for too many stupid reasons, and it doesn't mean shit. Vote with your actions speak so much louder than words, folks. And at the end of the day, your Steam review is just fucking words.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we've said our piece and we've gotten into it quite a bit here today for very constructive talk. And I do hope that anybody that listens or watches this, has takes it constructively. And also, if you have anything to add to it, be positive about this. Don't be negative about this. We have enough negativity in the gaming space nowadays, especially with some of the closures and layoffs that's been happening. We're going to talk about our schedule moving forward for the rest of the week. Thursday, we do not have a Splash Damage show going on at all, because on Friday, on our next episode of 20,000 Films Under the Sea, we are going to be doing a spoiler-free review of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And boy, am I stoked to see this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen all of these in theaters so far.
I think I didn't see the last one in theaters, but I did watch the last one recently. And then I cozied up with my popcorn and watched it. I'm probably going to watch it again, honestly, since I have some time. But Ernell and I secured our tickets today and got seats. So yeah. Please let us know how you feel about review bombing and what you do and don't like about it in our comments below, or you can also join our Discord and have that conversation in our Discord too. We will do our best to be a part of it, but there are plenty of fine folks in there that will also chat with you. Guys, this has been Good Kraken's Death Ratio, your choice for all the nerdy video game news, reviews, and discussions that you want to hear live each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. West Coast, Best Coast time. If you liked what you heard, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcast and video services wherever you like to watch or listen. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell or big red button, and by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Death Ratio and leaving a review. We have to go, but until next time.
Prime Gaming.
Bomb D's.
Prime Gaming.
Prime Gaming.